Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Gessner. I am the sales coordinator here at CU Answers Management Services. Welcome to Get Connected. Get Connected is a monthly webinar series focusing on CU Answers Management Services and the people who drive them. Again, I'm your host, Julie Gessner. I am the sales coordinator here at CU Answers Management Services. Get Connected will last about 30 minutes. You are placed on mute as you're entering the program today. If you do have any questions that you'd like to answer or have answered throughout the program, please use your Q&A or chat feature found at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Sessions are intended to be informative, fun, a little educational, and very unscripted. So I'm going to have a conversation today with Josh Peacock. Hello, Josh.
Hello, Julie.
Josh is the Assistant Manager of Analytics and Business Development here at CU Answers. Did I get that right?
It's pretty close.
Pretty
Seems
close.
like the title changes on a weekly basis.
I know we have long titles here
Yeah.
at CU Answers too. Tell us about what you do, Josh.
All right. Well, as you said, I'm Josh Peacock, and I always am interested in how people end up where they are, but I basically started at CU Answers 20 years ago, and this might be a history question for you, but was the name of the company Wesco back then, possibly?
No, I don't think so.
At one point, I believe it was Wesco.
It was at one point, yeah.
Yeah, so it might even have been Wesco
Yeah.
at that time. But a lot has happened over those 20 years. A lot of my motivation for staying here over that time, which some people would consider to be career death to stay at the same company. You don't see that as much as you do anymore. It seems like when you change jobs, you get more money. But I had a strong tie to Randy Carnes, the CEO, and he had a vision and an approach that I liked, and that's kind of what's kept me in this game for so long. So 20 years ago, not a lot of employees. Now we have over 250 employees. I have 4 that work with me. When I first started, I was on the keyboard a lot, building applications. We call those dashboards. That's a vernacular we use at CU Answers. It might not be an industry term where you see maybe a picture of a graph over here, some data. Ours are a little different than what we use. That we have a name, we call them dashboards, and they're very action driven. So I started out doing application development, my own man working with Randy Carnes. Probably 90% of my work comes from Randy. So he's really the visionary component behind this. He'll have an idea, give it to me, and now my team will work on it, have regular meetings to review, and then we'll have a product that we release to the market. These traditionally have been CU-based applications. So we've built over that 20 years our body of work. Maybe we have almost 100 applications that we've built.
Wow.
So now we're stepping on the brakes, and now we're shifting focus. So maybe 4 years ago, I wanted to get into some web development because I thought that's maybe where the trend was going. It was more exciting to me, so I'm not doing the same thing all the time. And again, I'm not doing the keyboard work anymore. I've got people that help me with that. So now we've got the core sitting over here, which I call CU base, and we've got web development over here. So this one's pretty saturated at the moment. We're still adding to it, but now we're building heavily on the web side. So then you say, okay, you have 100 applications you've built. Who's the audience for all this? Well, we've got a couple different definitions of audience expansion. The credit union member generally does not use our stuff. Now, maybe in an online banking situation, they might.
Right.
But our stuff is really options off of the CU-based software. And then the website, it's subscription-based. So we have over 250 credit unions. Over half of them pay a monthly subscription fee, which is very nominal. I did the math on it the other day. If you went to McDonald's every day and bought a small order of French fries, over the course of a month, that comes out to $42. Our subscription is less than the $42. So less than a small fry every day.
Right. So Josh, you're talking about a program, right?
Yes.
We have CU base here.
Yep.
And you're talking about a web-based application that has a subscription to that. What's that called?
Analytics Booth.
Okay.
And they serve, and going back to the audience component, I kind of got away from that briefly. We have different audiences. So it's not the credit union member, but we have credit union branch managers. It could be the CEO, could be a board member, could be an examiner, an auditor could use some of these tools, especially on the website, because we have a separate sign-on, and you can get that for that anywhere you have an internet connection. In addition to that, we also have our own sales team that uses some of our dashboards through the selling process, because if you're trying to show someone how to post a teller transaction, that's only so sexy. So we try to give them a little more graphs and things like this on some of the dashboards. So the net of it is we've got a large body of applications here, and we're building up on the website today.
Right. So primarily in your role today,
Yes,
you're really concentrating more on the analytics booth,
that's correct.
right? Still driving the dashboards and how the look and the feel and all those new features that might be coming along. Yeah,
Sure.
really analytics booth is kind of where it's at for you.
That's kind of where
Right.
it's at. And I should make the distinction that these applications on the core are very marketing driven. Randy has got a philosophy that used to be called ASAP, A-S-A-P,
I remember.
ask, see, act on it, and then profit. Now you say profit, we're in a credit union industry that's nonprofit, but by the same token, you have to make some money or
Money.
the doors aren't going to stay open. But recently, we've tried to build this army of analysts, and now it's called ASAAP. So we've inserted an analyze in there, then
Yeah.
act and profit. So, and the applications on the core have all the member information. So if you do a lot of segmenting in an application A, for example, you might find 25 members that you're very interested in.
Right.
We have very good tools called Common Bonds where we can export those 25 members and then have 4 or 5 different channels to market to those people. That is a little bit different and disconnected from how we operate on the website. And I'm trying to make that distinction
Yeah.
because we don't store private information today on that web.
Right.
It's all summarized. We take this much data, get rid of the name, social security numbers, account numbers, summarize it, and then we ship it over to this separate space. Now you can find very good ideas on this analytics booth, but you may have to go back to the core to do the action component, if you will.
So on the analytics booth side, if I am a CEO or CFO or a credit union manager and I'm coming over to analytics booth, I'm logging in and I can see how my daily operations might be looking, right? I get a visual picture that I can help me visualize and understand more about what's happening inside my credit union. That's a goal.
I think so. There's really 3 product lines. So we released our alerts and trends, which are 2 of the product lines, in January of 2015. The alerts is a notification system, much like if you went to the doctor and you were tested for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. We do those tests every night across all of the subscribers. When I say a subscriber, the definition there is a credit union.
Okay.
So you get that test at night, usually around midnight, somewhere in there. By 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, you get the lab results on that. And so if your blood pressure is too high, you might say, send my husband an alert, send my so-and-so an alert.
Okay.
You decide who the distribution of the notification is. So that's the
Brilliant.
the alert leg of Analytics Booth. Going back to what you were talking about, there's also a performance element. We have 80 different graphs on some of the key metrics on our data. And you can go through and trend on a day-by-day basis, because we do this daily for these trending, on 80 different points. And for the people that subscribed in 2015, we probably have 1,300 data points back there. You can look at any particular day along the way. So maybe your goal was here, but your graph came in below it. You could make an annotation and describe, well, maybe there was an economic condition that took place, and therefore maybe I'm a small credit union, and I'll use the example where I grew up, Marshall, Michigan, 7,000 people. We had a regional State Farm office. We also had Eaton Corporation, 2 big employers in the community. The State Farm regional office is no longer there. Eaton Corporation now looks like just grass, so that's gone away. So that credit union, outside of their control, may have set some goals, but since the 2 big organizations left, obviously they didn't hit the mark. You'd make your notes and go on. So it's great where you can track what you're doing and compare it against your goals.
Yeah.
Those graphs come in very usefully.
So you mentioned alerts and annotations. So if I get an alert, and it's maybe when I say that, I might say I have to find my manager to receive an alert when specific conditions arise.
That's exactly
And
right.
that manager might be able to go in that system to Analytics Booth and then see where my annotation has been made, my note.
Yes.
Okay.
So annotations come in a couple forms. Number one, you can make a public annotation. Maybe you're kind of just starting to research something and you're not real sure about it, so you want to leave a breadcrumb, if you will, on what's going on. So that might be a private annotation. And then when you go through and you do your research, you might find out exactly what caused the event. You can hit a checkbox and it makes it public. That means any other user that has access to your credit union data and that application would go in there and they could actually see what that indentation was. There's a couple of good reasons for that. Number one, if you went through a marketing campaign in 2015 and your sales new memberships were like this, and then all of a sudden for a 6 weeks period, they just went straight up and then they flattened out. Well, 3 years from now, you might want to say, geez, we had great growth during that marketing campaign. What were the details? Was it a radio ad? Was it television? Did they have a billboard on there? Maybe the person that was involved with the marketing doesn't even work at the credit union anymore. So now you're sitting at a board meeting, maybe showing that, and you have a board member say, hey, what was that nice spike you had there? And you say, I don't know, I have to research that. So leaving these breadcrumbs, if you will, behind is instrumental on the operations of the business.
Yeah. So that's where the correlation between the analytics booth and CU-based can be made. So, right, so if I'm a manager who received the alert, then I can go in and dig further into actually member data from the CU-based end.
That's correct.
Okay. Get it now.
Yeah, and you don't have to go through CU-based to get this information. You could be sitting on a beach somewhere with an iPad.
That sounds attractive.
Yeah, Hawaii somewhere maybe. And then do your analysis. If you have questions, have someone else research it back on the core or sign on the core yourself.
Right, so I might be an executive over at a meeting, attending my meeting, and need my staff members to go in and take a look and tell me more. That might be able to be accomplished using these methods, right?
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. Tell me about the team though, because you don't just do this by yourself. And you said you don't even you must type. You must use a keyboard. Tell me more.
Yeah, I still type a little bit. I do more of checking and maybe some of the creativity component. Randy will give a concept usually. A lot of times it'll be on the back of a piece of paper. We'll build a whole application from it. And then we have these review meetings like I was saying, and it takes shape, and then we go from there. But traditionally, I've had as many as maybe 5 or 6 members that worked with me on the core side. But now that we're relaxing that, we've had people leave and whatever. We're not replacing because we're slowing down. So I've got 2 core developers that work with CU-based. But what we've done in addition to that is we now have 2 full-time web developers. And actually, one of the core developers is kind of graduating or moving toward and expanding their skill set to become a web developer. So we might have 1.5 developers on the core and 2.5 developers on the web. That's kind of the configuration that we're talking about right now.
So these are applications that really they must learn to be able to talk with one another in the programming world.
Yes.
That sound right? Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about this team. So these are the builders. Yes. Your team. Who drives the program? Who drives the analytics booth? How do I order it? How do I get started?
Sure. Well, we've got, you said, I asked you before the meeting started, and because this is my first time in the hot seat, if you will, that's why I brought the water cool.
Remember?
I'm sure. And this is your 9th one, and this is session number 9. So, Asterisk Intelligence, you had Keegan Daniel on last week. They have an online store, and there's a website. You go out there and you can actually order the product. You could come in here, you could call CU Answers, get a hold of Thomas Hull, Island Hawks, and then you could possibly order that way. And that's how you place the order to start becoming a subscriber on the web side.
Right.
Yep.
How do I learn? How do I learn about it?
Excellent.
I subscribe, then what?
Right. Then you sit back and wonder why you spent $40 a month and you're not getting anything.
Why did I do that?
Sure. Well, we have a getting started guide out there. There's publications, but we also have regular training events, and they could be much like this right here, where we'll pull up an application, get an audience, and maybe it didn't fit with someone's time schedule, so we recorded it. And so we're building this library of training events, if you will, so you can get started. And plus, if you have any questions when you get in there, certainly you can pick up the phone and call or email. These are not applications that you have to worry about breaking, if you know what I'm saying. And we try to make them intuitive as possible, but you can only fit so much information on these screens. We can't put everything out there. So invariably, there will be questions where you probably want to reach out to somebody to get the full potential of how to use the product.
What you're saying though is it's really turnkey, right? I can just get started, turn it on, and really start digging in because I'm not going to break it.
Yes.
Right? I can really start analyzing and understanding the views of what I'm seeing, and then pick up the phone, give us a call, watch the training videos, and really learn more about the power of what it can do, right?
Sure. And back to the core I was talking about, where we have those 100 established applications. We have weekly dashboard dives that Asterisk Intelligence does, and that's a great way to watch those. And like I said, if you don't have the time or it doesn't meet your schedule, then you would watch the recording. So.
Yeah, so we have Josh's team, builders, right?
Yes.
We have analytics, the Astros Intelligence team, users. And the two are married together in a cooperative partnership where we can deliver a product to our credit unions that you can use. That sound right? Did I explain it all
I think so.
correctly? Okay,
And
good.
going back to the core applications that we have our traditional customer support that would come in through downstairs where someone picks up the phone if a credit union has an issue, and that's how those calls would get routed. If the CSR downstairs couldn't answer the question, they might funnel that to my group. For the web-based applications, the CSR would probably be on the Asterisk Intelligence team, and if they can't answer the question, again, it would funnel down to our area where we try to help
Right,
resolve.
so it's a little different in our model here.
A little different.
Users, right?
A little different, but either way, you kind of, and I suspect if you called with a web-based application and you hit the CSRs downstairs, they would understand that, and they route right over to Asterisk Intelligence, so hopefully it's not a big confusing, which application do I call it? And
Yeah.
try to avoid that.
So same routing, just different procedures internally that we follow to get information to the right place. And I've been on the receiving end of some of those, and it really truly is very seamless. So folks pick up the phone and give us a call. Check us out on the web. So where do I order it again? You told me about.
There's a website. I don't have it in front of me. What the store? There's an online store.
Yep.
For the
store.cuanswers.com, right? And I would go there and I would look for analytics booth.
Yes.
And I would order.
And you would order.
Yep.
And that triggers a series of events. Number one, there's a switch on the core because that's where the information starts from, and then we would start collecting data that night. So we start building. Remember I said we rolled some of the products out 3 years ago. So for trends, you would start collecting your data the next day and start building that.
That's a great question.
And then after about 3 or 4 or 5 days, we activate your subscription. So now you can go in there and look at your 80 trends. I think there was a theory there that if you turned it on the very next day, you'd have one data point and it wouldn't be much of a graph. Now, having said that, I mentioned there was 3 product lines.
Right.
We've got alerts, which we talked about with emails. We've got these 80 graphs, and the nice thing about the learning curve on that is once you learn how to operate one of these graphs, the other 79 are identical. So the learning curve is not very steep.
Good.
But then we have dashboards, and we've been collecting data for most of the credit unions back in September of 2016. If you're on CUA Prots, we've got 500 or 600 days worth of data. So when we flip that switch with a brand new subscription, immediately you've got almost 2 years worth of information on the dashboard.
That, right?
On the trend side, you got to start at day 1, but on the dashboard side, you have the history already built up.
What's the third?
Well, that's the dashboard.
Okay.
So it's alerts, trends, and dashboards.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more as a user. So if I subscribe and I'm the CEO and I subscribe and I want my CFO and my lending manager and my marketing manager and my member service manager to have access. Do I have to have additional subscriptions or is it just one?
That's a good question. Right now, we have a subscription by credit union. So as a one-time fee, and today it's $40, and then if you had a month, we've got Honor Credit Union has 75 users. We've got 900 throughout all of Analytics Booth. But for those 75 users, they pay that one-time fee of $40. It's not by the user.
So I'm not buying a seat license. I'm buying one
credit union license
to use product. Now, so I just subscribe, like I have an admin person who goes and adds users. Is that how it works?
That's exactly right. So there's an administrator. You pick someone from your credit union, maybe 1 or 2. If it's a bigger credit union, maybe the administrator's not there, so you want to rely on somebody else, maybe a backup. In a smaller credit union, that's probably not as much an issue. And then that person would add users along the way. And then we were talking about audience a little while ago, examiners or whatever. Yeah. You don't even have to be, you could get an alert. You could say, hey, if this event happens, send it to my branch manager. Oh, and by the way, key in the email of your examiner, and they will get a copy of that alert as well. Even though the examiner may not have access to the system, they could be on the receiving end and get some of these alerts.
Excellent. Or someone else inside the credit union.
Somebody else.
Right, who doesn't have a license. Now, can they all have different levels of security once I've assigned a person, or is it just one type of profile that they all have?
Well, there's, for the general credit union, there's 2. There's the administrator who sets up new users, and then everybody else would be what we call an authorized user. I believe it's called a role.
Okay.
But so they both have access to the same things at this point.
Yeah, I find myself asking what type of experience would I need to have in order to use the program? Would I have to know a lot about Excel, web applications? What really do I need to know?
Yeah, you should probably have some familiarity with a PC, no doubt about it, or web applications. And again, if not, it doesn't take too long to get up to speed on that. And you talked about Excel. Indirectly, we have exports on much of our data, and then that's a feeder system right into Excel, because sometimes when we build an application, it's not exactly how someone wants it. Even though the dashboards are highly configurable, you can get rid of columns and move stuff around. But if you want to play in Excel, because I'm an Excel fan myself, download it, get it to Excel, and then massage the data the way you want.
So if you and I are both using,
Yes.
for my credit union, then we could both have different views. We may not necessarily be looking at the same type of graph or chart that I've made. Is that right?
To a degree.
Okay.
One of the things we've done is we have on the list to where you can create a view. Let's say the report has 10 columns on it, but you only want to see these 3 all the time. I might want to see all 10.
Yeah.
So you'd have a 3 view and I'd have a 10 view. We have no way to store that right now.
Okay.
But very quickly, these applications you can get it from 10 to 3 very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's not my theory is, though, if you're always going to want 3, we should save your settings.
Yeah.
So the next time you come in here, it pops up to that view. You might have several views in the future. You pick and choose the views you want. Maybe you have a 5-column view.
Yeah.
Different filters, perhaps.
Yeah, rest assured for folks who are listening today, the program for Analytics Booth is super easy to use. It truly is, and it's just a wonderful view. It's easy to log into. It's easily accessible, right?
Right.
So not a lot of confusion happens. And on the user end, again, it's just the ease of use is really what makes it beautiful. Right? I don't have to have a lot of training to know what I'm looking at. I can easily move data around in the way that I want to see it. So I really like that about the product.
Sure.
I like the support very much, and I love the videos that go along with, right? Because I'm a video person, yeah. So Josh, gosh, I can't believe our half hour is almost over, and there's probably a ton more that I want to talk about. But if I wanted to go, is there information out on the CU Answers website as well about Analytics Booth? Would I go to Asterix Intelligence, look there?
That's probably the route you would take.
So as for information, cuanswers.com, you would hover over Solutions and hit Asterix Intelligence, and it will take you on to more information, both about Asterix Intelligence team, about what they do, and the products and services that they provide, as well as the Analytics Booth, which is driven by the team. Otherwise, go to store.cuanswers.com and order from there.
Now, you guys see you've got a laundry list of questions down here at the bottom, too.
So everybody wants to know, right?
Everybody wants to know.
These are the questions everybody wants to know in the world. What is your favorite word?
Well, it's probably a series of words. I'm kind of a competitive person. I like it.
Yes.
Integrity would have to be at the top. Curiosity, creative, it'd be any one of those.
I like that, yeah. How about your least favorite word?
Well, I shouldn't say it, but incompetence would come up there. I say that, though, because I've recently changed my opinion there. When I go through McDonald's and I order something, let's say I don't want onions, and I get onions, invariably, I used to get mad at that. Now I'm kind of excited because that means there's somebody that I'm probably going to make some more money than that person. So incompetence now is growing on me, but I don't like it when it's close to me. Boring probably is my least favorite word. I like fun and excitement.
Oh, that's neat. So tell me about your favorite musician. Who is that?
That's a tough one. I find over the years in my life, and as I've become more of a family person, that Harry Chapin, I don't know if you know much about him. He died at age 38, I think, in a car crash. But it's really about his family and his relationship with his son, and how he got so involved with work that the connection, his whole lifetime had passed, really, and his son was already come and gone, didn't know each other. So I think that's good, a reminder not to get too obsessed on 8 to 5. Or,
we work hard, play hard, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of our a lot of us live by, right? We like to work hard. We truly do here at CU Answers. I think there's not a desk that you would walk by where you don't find someone working super hard, but we like to have fun with each other too, and so that's what makes us family. So that's a really good analogy. Okay, last question. What is your superpower?
Curiosity, probably.
Oh, same as your favorite word.
Yeah, I just like to look at things and
I love that.
Yeah, no doubt about
You
it.
can certainly do a lot with curiosity, and I hope you all stay curious too.
Anya, just to dovetail real quickly, I know we're wrapping up on your
Sure.
robot or comment. I've got one employee that works with me that I've never seen anybody like him. When he gets to work, if there was a robot sitting next to him, the robot would be taking breaks more than this guy. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
hard.
he takes a bathroom break during the day. I've never heard him talk for the first year, so I've got one guy that's just laser beam focused. If I was 20-year-old and made a comment like that, it might not mean much, but I'm in my 50s now, and having seen a lot of people work, he is by far the most laser beam focused guy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I love that. It's so much fun to dig down deep into what you're doing and really get involved in projects. And gosh, it's so much fun here. Before we go, one more question. We've got 1 minute. Who is your mentor?
That's a good question. I'm kind of although I could be in a checkout in a line and have a new best friend at the grocery store in a matter of 2 minutes, they might not know it, but they might be my best friend. I don't really socialize a lot outside of work. I really am stingy, selfish with my time. But in terms of mentors, that leads into this a little bit. I've got a list on my wall of maybe a dozen people that I kind of respect. Some of them are actors, some are motivational speakers, some are sports figures. And I do a lot of YouTube and just listen to people talk.
Yeah,
and
I love that too.
I think I've got a variety of mentors, even though they don't know they're mentoring me.
Yeah.
I just use them maybe for inspiration and motivation.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I love that. Yeah. A lot of times go out and do that too. All right, that's going to wrap up today's session of Get Connected. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next month, where we'll have Annalyn and Thomas from the Asterisk Intelligence team. So I hope you'll check that out as well and learn even more about everything that we're doing here at CU Answers. Look forward to seeing you then.